At this point last week, there was a notion, and I think a keen sense of the notion that there might be a new sense of parity in the National Football League. Now, again, we're marathoning. We're not sprinting. But last week, at this very time, there were no fewer than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 2-0 teams in the National Football League. And 3 of them resided in the NFC South. Established 2002. Never had 3 2-0 teams in it at the same time. The NFC East established many moons ago. 3 2-0 teams within it for the first time since 1989. The NFC, 7 of the 9 teams. Whew. At 2-0. How about them apples? 7. Just 2 in the AFC, as opposed to deep end of the pool. And just when you thought, maybe, just maybe, we're going to have a ton of parity in this league. Ton of parity. Because if I'm not mistaken, just taking a look at everything, only 2 of the 9 undefeated teams played each other. So you had a shot to come out of this with 8 2-0 teams entering week 4, being 3-0. How about that? Parity. And the football gods looked at those thinking about parity in the same way. They looked at Jets fans and said, no, we are not doing it this way. Same football gods, very, very stern, maybe using Eric Bieniemy type terms, saying, nah, screw your parity, stuff it in a box. Don't even say that word anymore.
And then in a sack.
Here we are entering week 4, 3 2-0 teams, and creme de la creme are now 3-0.
Absolutely.
Creme de la creme. The cream rising to the top. And it's the 2 teams in the NFC Championship game last year. And over in the AFC, the 2 teams in the AFC Championship game, you got the Chiefs at 2-1. And now suddenly, the darling of 10-year-old girls everywhere. And the Cincinnati Bengals avoiding the dreaded 0-3 start with limping Joe Burrow doing just enough to take the Bengals off that griddle.
It's a dance that's sweeping the nation.
And the 3-0 team in the AFC is the Miami Dolphins. Who, as you know, we started the show with on Monday, because in this league, it's tough to win by 5 points.
Yeah.
Let alone 50 points. And the Miami Dolphins, once again, they're 70 points on Sunday. More points scored in those Miami Dolphins uniforms against the Denver Broncos on Sunday than 17 National Football League teams through 3 weeks.
Rich, you just said they won by 50. 5 teams haven't scored 50 all year.
There you go. There you go. Their margin of victory is more than what 5 teams have posted through 3 weeks.
Unreal.
Now, that's a story. You know what? My spidey sense in all these years that I've been talking sports, and I'll even throw my 3 years and 2 years as an intern, summer intern, with the Staten Island Advance. Oh. All of my news sense, my news gathering sense, tells me that's a story. So now that we're down to 3, let's ask the question we started asking a couple weeks ago. Who is potentially going to be the final undefeated team in 2023? And who might be the ones to threaten the cork popping in Miami? And is it possible those who are around from the 72 Dolphins wouldn't mind popping the champagne corks next year if it's the Miami Dolphins who actually go undefeated? That's our poll question today at Rich Eisen Show. And that's also for you if you want to chime in at 844-204-RICH, being the number to dial. Who is going to go undefeated the longest? The old last longest, like your poker tournaments.
Yep.
Who's going to be at the final table? We won't know that till February. But who's going to last the longest is undefeated. Tua, Brock Purdy, or Jalen Hurts? Who's it going to be? And I am going to put my marker down.
Already?
Yeah. Have takes. You know what I mean?
Have
I understand
takes.
that, sometimes I put the thumb on the scale, but I don't believe my thumb on the scale is going to affect the final result.
Really?
Yeah. Because I think everybody's going to go Miami Dolphins in this poll.
They could lose this weekend.
Very much so. Because you take a look at the schedules. Let's go with that one first then. The Miami Dolphins schedule. They have the Buffalo Bills this very weekend in Western New York. Home for the Giants, home for Carolina. Oh, my goodness gracious. But those teams, boy. The Nick Saban Bowl, Bryce Young, if he's back against Tua. Let me show you a thing or two, pal. But what it's like to try and put up points in the National Football League, my goodness. But then they're at Philadelphia. They play each other. One of these two teams that's currently undefeated, barring a tie, will go down and have a much less round number in the loss column. They play Kansas City. My gosh, I got to tell you this. I am thanking my lucky stars. I'm calling that game in Germany on NFL Network in Frankfurt,
baby.
Germany in week 9. I will be in the booth, and I will be proud to be having that headset on behalf of the National Football League Network and doing my best. That is a dream come true to have the audience there for that game. And I am lighting candles in the house for everybody's health. I don't know if the Dolphins go undefeated the longest. Let's take a look at the Philadelphia Eagles, since obviously they have the Dolphins on their docket as well. The Eagles at 3-0, not even playing their best offensive football. The coach himself even said that. They lost both coordinators, and the defense, I think, is already up and running in a more efficient way, I would say, because they have, Jalen Carter up front. My goodness. We're not even talking about the Bulldogs before him and alongside him.
He's already a big favorite for offensive or defensive rookie of the year.
If the Eagles win that game against Miami, they've got a shot here to enter their bye at 9-0, unless Dallas can go into Philadelphia and do something. What do you think about that? I'm just going to flat out ask you, TJ, because I believe on your 2 cracks at it, right, with the Cowboys. I think you had a loss in both.
No, I probably would. I'm pretty sure I said a split. Because
Hold
that's
on a
how
second.
These guys usually go.
Yeah. You did. You had them losing both times, pal.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Even the second time I did it?
Even the second time you did it after the Cowboys started 2-0 and we had your mulligan it. Yeah.
Interesting.
You gave them a loss at San Francisco, at Philadelphia, and then at the Commanders to end, figuring that they were resting starters since they were going 14-3, as you said the second time. Well, and you had them at 11-6 the first time.
That might be more realistic.
You had them losing to Philadelphia and Philly both times. The Eagles might do it. But it's entirely possible that the Miami Dolphins lose in Buffalo this weekend and then beat Philadelphia. Because I'm putting my money on the 49ers going undefeated the longest. Put their schedule up if you don't mind. Man, this is a great team. And again, recency bias is even a week-to-week thing. Because Miami just curb-stomped Denver, and the Eagles just won on Monday night. But look at this. Look at the schedule. Home for Arizona, home for Dallas. I think that's going to be a long night for you. Well, it's going to be a long night for me because I'm going to be in London having just called Bills and Jaguars, and I'm going to probably stay up late just to see some of that if I can. At Cleveland. Which is, I know, you're going, that's a higher register.
But that defense is no joke.
I know that.
If Watson can round into form, that's going to be a game.
Then, George Kittle traveling whenever Myles Garrett runs around.
That's funny.
Little Titans protection scheme at Minnesota, home for Cincinnati. Let's just say they do avoid the loss in Cleveland. Look at that. They could wind up on Thanksgiving night at Seattle having an undefeated record, I think.
So it's going to be a long night for Dallas, but the Niners.
Well, they have Dallas in there.
Up.
Yes, yeah, for sure. TJ, I know you're sitting here thinking Cleveland is not Dallas. Dallas is better than Cleveland, but Dallas is in San Francisco, and San Francisco got to go to Cleveland. I'm wondering if that, I don't know if they can flex that into a later afternoon start, but let me just see right now. San Francisco and Cleveland's currently a 1 Eastern contest. West Coast teams playing 1 East contests on the road. That's not easy. That ain't easy, which is why I thought their week 1 win over Pittsburgh was more impressive than even people were giving them credit for. So, yeah, that's not denigrating Dallas. Cleveland has a terrific defense. Cleveland might be the higher register team of the entire AFC right now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should do higher register on Friday. We haven't done it in a while.
I just feel it's so hard. You can't just replace Nick Chubb, though. You know,
No, I know that.
That's a guy who's kind of hard to. You can plug
this
someone
Ford kid. This Ford kid looks really good.
You know how that division is come December. It's going to be snowy. I mean, those guys.
I hear you. I'm just talking about just right now, week 6, when the Niners go in. I'm assuming, with all due respect to Dallas, that's a big Sunday night game. In week 5, I would choose the 49ers, going undefeated the longest. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.